How to get over someone you love? That's a great question. These are 5 honest truths and 5 recommendations that you need to hear and start applying when you come across this video. Starting off with number 1. It is okay for you to love people. It is okay if you fell in love, and it's okay for you to have loved somebody that's currently in your life or is no longer in your life. Validate how you feel. This is the first thing that you need to keep in mind. In order for you to get over somebody, you have to be okay with how the relationship was, how the connection was. You have to be able to validate your experience. It could be negative, it could be positive, it could have been for a long term, or it could have been short term. It's normal to love people because, one, you're a human being and you have a heart, and you also have emotions and feelings. Do not suppress how you feel. Regardless of how things ended, you felt the way you did, and it is okay. Normalize being in love and spreading love. The more you learn to love yourself, the higher you'll be able to raise your frequency. The second reminder is that you need to learn how to be grateful for people when they are in your life. There is a season and a reason on why people are connected to you in that moment, whether it's negative or positive. When people come into your life, there is a lot of skills, a lot of lessons that you're going to learn from yourself and from them, because people are mirrors when it comes to energy and frequency. So sometimes in relationship, people challenge you. You may think it's negative, but when you learn how to transmute the energy, you realize, okay, I had problems with commitment. I had problems with communication. I had problems with infidelity. I have problems with being intimate, regardless of what it is. This other person, this other place, this other environment brought out a side of me that I was unaware of or taught me to embrace. Be grateful for the connections that you have. Everybody can teach you something if you allow them to. Do not limit yourself. Do not be prideful. And do not be ungrateful, because when people are removed out of your life, they're gone. Once the season is up, that is it. And speaking from experience, I've learned to love everybody in my past. Everybody in my path, regardless of what has happened to me, I was able to learn about myself and them and wish them well. But sometimes in life, you don't get second chances with people. And I also know from experience. So when certain people are in your life, be grateful that they pour into you. Be grateful that they make time for you. Be grateful, because it's a privilege to be in anybody's space. And I know from experience, I don't need anybody to be in my life. I wanted people to be in my life. So when people do not learn from the choices, you have to cut them off. You have to move on. It's not personal, because if they really loved you, people are going to be happy that you become a better person. If people are not able to accept that the relationship has came to an end and you guys are two different people and you're growing, they never loved you, they never cared for you. And that's another thing. Be grateful, because when you are in a relationship with these people, when you're in these environments, like I stated, it's a lot for you to learn. When they're gone, and it's no coming back. A lot of people do not get second chances in life when it comes to relationships, people, places, and things. So always express gratitude and just be thoughtful and mindful of how what you say and what you do affects others. I've learned this as I've gotten older. I had never realized how much people valued certain things that I did until I was no longer in a relationship or in an environment or in the energy or space with them. I'm like, wow, you never know how people feel towards you. So that's going to lead us into the third thing, which is telling them how you feel. Tell that person that you love them. Call them, text them. Now, of course, if they don't respond to you, if they don't feel the same way you did, that's fine. But you don't want to live your life in regret or have doubt or have fears or have resentment and start to have anxiety or feel depressed about the conversations that you could have had and didn't. And I know from experience, be prideful, do not be arrogant. If you love someone, tell them. Why are you ashamed? You should not be able to feel embarrassed about loving somebody if your intentions are genuine and they're pure. Even if these people don't feel the same way towards you, communicate and let them know that you do love them for multiple reasons. Number one, you have a sense of security. When you know you did the right thing, you know you were loving to yourself, you know you were loving to them, and you let them know, that could be all the closure you need. Because sometimes in life, you're not going to get an apology. Sometimes in life, you're not going to be able to rekindle or fix things. So let people know, you know what? I love you. I'm in love with you. It is what it is. It's not embarrassing. If that person is like, oh, you're cringy or you're clingy or etc., that's not the person you want to be with anyways. I can tell anybody I love them because I love myself. And that's another thing. You have to learn how to love yourself. That's one of the recommendations, okay? But I'm just going to tell you now in this slide. But when you learn to love yourself, you could tell people you love them. When you respect yourself and it's genuine, people know when you're being honest. Because you know if you're being honest. And you don't want to live with that fear or that regret to think about, I should have said this or I could have did that. Learn to express how you feel and communicate. And from experience, the more you learn to open up and work on certain areas of yourself, because none of us are perfect, including myself, you'll realize you can handle situations differently. Like me, over the years, I've learned to handle situations a lot more effectively from communication instead of being closed off, instead of not taking the time to express how I feel, because you can miss out on good relationships just from not expressing yourself and not being patient and not being vulnerable. Like, being vulnerable is not a weakness. Anybody who thinks being vulnerable is a weakness, bombastic side, like at this big age at least, okay? So tell them how you feel. It doesn't matter if they don't respond back to you. It doesn't matter if you never hear from them ever again. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to let go of that consciousness, that guilt. Because you can end up being guilty for not having conversations or realizing that these people are gone. These people are gone. And if you're like myself, once a relationship is over, that's it. Because certain things you can't come back from. Certain things you're not going to be able to come back from. So that's going to lead us into the fourth thing, which is self-reflecting, which is learning to love yourself. What you learn from the relationship, whether it's negative or positive. Once again, when you learn how to transmute energy, you just realize what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. You just appreciate the balance and duality. But if, let's just say you're not there yet, appreciate and apply what you learned from them, because people are going to challenge you in relationships. They're going to trigger you. You may think it's bad, but it's for your greater good. So from experience, certain people challenged me to communicate more with them instead of being dismissive. Okay, I'm speaking from experience. Some people may challenge you to trust yourself and them. Some people may challenge you to be vulnerable. Some people may challenge you to be patient. When you love somebody, like Donnell Jones said, when you love someone, you just don't treat them bad. You don't. So if you were in a relationship with something or somebody or an environment and it treated you bad, there was a lesson you needed to learn about yourself and them. And the reason why it's so important to reflect is so therefore, when you decide to separate yourself, when you decide to pour into yourself, you become a better person and you don't continue to bleed or hurt other people in your future. You're going to come across a lot of people in this life if you're elevating, if you're moving forward. And it's not fair to the new people who don't know you to not be with you when you're healed or the greatest version of yourself. Like me personally, the relationships that I've been making as I've aged in life, I've learned from my past. I don't allow certain choices and mistakes or lessons that I've had to learn from to affect my new relationships, because these people did not do anything to me and these people don't know you, and it's not fair to them or to me. Like, don't do that to yourself. Don't close off your heart just because certain people. Learn the lesson. And I'm talking to myself too, guys. I've had to learn a lot of lessons. That's what life is about, is learning, okay? If you didn't know. Earth is a school for those of you who are intuitive. But if you're not, it's okay. But you're going to learn a lot of lessons in life. The goal is to not continue the same cycle. So therefore, you're not experiencing all these trials and tribulations. It's like once you get it, all right, cool. It becomes smoother. It does become smoother. So it's like in order for you to have love and be in healthy relationships, because it's possible, you have to heal. You have to learn the negative and the positive. Take it. Say, this is what I'm going to do in my relationship. This is what I'm not going to do. This is what I'm going to do for myself. This is what I'm not going to do. Evaluate. Spend some time alone before you get into the next relationship. Because what happens is, too, a lot of people, they don't heal themselves and they go from relationship to relationship and end up causing a lot of trauma and just a lot of negative energy and just staying stuck and being closed off, and it's just not good. So this is the last thing that you need to be reminded of. Forgive yourself. That's the fifth honest truth and the fifth recommendation. Learn to forgive yourself. You didn't know what you know now. And even if you gave people chances or vice versa, it doesn't matter, honestly, who did what in the relationship, because you are a part of it. And I'm guilty too, you guys. I'm not perfect. I don't try to be. But I know what I did right and I know what I did wrong. And so do those people. Everybody has consequences with their actions. Nobody's excluded. So forgive yourself. There's a lot of things that I had to forgive myself for. And I take pride in forgiveness. I know a lot of people don't, but when you don't learn to at least forgive yourself, you're allowing that resentment, bitterness, anger, projections, betrayal to stay in your heart when that energy was never yours. And I'm not invalidating your experiences. I'm not saying that everybody is, genuine and wants to heal and is just amazing. There are some people who do not make certain choices, but what I've had to learn is that the people that betrayed you, the people that betrayed me and did certain things, they didn't care. They did what they did. Now, of course, when you remove yourself and you no longer have access to these people, sometimes they learn, even if they don't. You're not going to be able to talk to them or see them, so don't accept apology from them. Apologize to yourself. Learn to forgive yourself for being in spaces with people who did not deserve your grace, who did not deserve certain things from you. And you know now, like, okay, when you get into that next relationship, whether it's at work, it's at school, it's within your community, or even you're building relationships with your family members, you know, like certain things that you're going to tolerate and certain things that you don't. And that also helps you when you forgive yourself, realize who's meant to have access to you and who's not. Anybody has a problem with your boundaries, we don't need to be friends. You're not my boyfriend. You're not my girlfriend. I don't want you to support me. And always keep your standards how you want them to. Never adjust them, because there are times when you adjust your standards, and I'm also guilty on this with people, and they take advantage. And it's like, since you thought it was a game, instead of going tit for tat and playing tic-tac-toe, Monopoly, Goldfish, and Uno, we're just going to end the game. And what I mean by that is removing access, because it's a privilege. Anybody who doesn't understand it's a privilege to be in your presence is not for you. And you don't have to explain that. So forgive yourself so the right people can be in a relationship with you and love you, because people know your worth. When people do not feel worthy of themselves, they're going to sabotage the relationship because, one, they're not used to it, or because they know. And I know from experience. People have intentionally sabotaged certain things because they knew. And instead of being honest, instead of communicating, people chose to do what they did. And that's the same thing to you. People that betrayed us, they did what they did. I'm not going to stay bitter for the rest of my life because somebody that has nothing to do with me. Return that energy back to sender. Like, once you realize that other people's actions don't have nothing to do with you, it's really easy to sleep peacefully at night, okay? Life is about choices. You're going to make choices in life. Some you may have to learn from. Some you're going to be grateful that you did. You guys heard that? My stomach just growled. I'm about to go eat in this video. But moral of the video, learn to love yourself. And that's how you'll learn to get over someone that you loved. And even if you still have love for them, Real love from experience is never gonna die. It's never gonna die. It's never gonna fade. Like, just be grateful. Think of the times that you had that were good and learn the lessons that they taught you, whether these people are alive or they're dead. And what I want to say to you is, if they're dead and you weren't able to say how you feel when you come across this video, write a letter to them and either read it out loud or just keep it in your journal or your index card, because that's what these are called. You guys, for the life of me, for the longest, I could not remember what it was called. I had a brain fog, but write it down on index card, piece of paper, something, and just say what you would want to say to them, even the people that are no longer in your life and they're alive. So if you want closure and you weren't able to get closure from them, I'm getting tongue twisted. Write down how you feel and say it out loud, and once you say it out loud, let it go. Letting go becomes easier once you express how you feel. Like, the only reason why people suffer is because the attachment issue that they had from not communicating and trying to suppress their feelings. Okay? So if you guys are interested in more videos like this, let me know. If you're new here, welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. They'll be in the description below. And if you want a one-on-one session, make sure you go to the website and click the link. I love you guys. You are love. You're going to learn to move on because life is going to go on. Okay? Learn to love yourself. Take some time on yourself before you get in that new relationship. Let me just end the video because I'm tongue twisted. But make sure you follow us. All the information will be down in the description below. Bye.